Okay.
Hi, I'm Susan Dunn, and I'm a teacher at Our Lady of the Assumption Catholic School in Brookhaven. I teach 8th grade U.S. history.
Okay. How did you first get into teaching, and when did you first realize it's what you wanted to do?
I first realized it's what I wanted to do, I think, when I was in about 6th grade. And at that point, I really liked English and literature. So I always thought when I got into teaching, I would go down that avenue. And then for a while during high school, I did not think of it at all, did not want to be a teacher. I was looking at doing other things, such as nursing. And then just going through different things in college, I kind of circled back to it and realized I actually did want to stick with it.
What do you like and dislike most about teaching?
What I like about it is that you always have an audience that you can teach something to. There's always something new that you can expose them to, or something different that they haven't seen or heard before. So it's always nice to be able to lead them down a path they've never been before. And then what do I
dislike?
What do I dislike about it? What I dislike about it is the constraints of the school calendar and what you have to teach them. You have to check off boxes that you did things, and it's a constraint on your time because often you want to spend more time on a certain topic and you can't because you just don't have the time.
What did you originally think you were going to be when you grew up? I knew you said that you were thinking about it in like 6th grade, but like in high school, like, or I guess in college at the beginning.
Yeah, in college, I started going down more social sciences. I was going to be a psychologist. I was actually looking at accelerated master's programs, that I was going to change schools and go more into child psychology. And I was also at that point getting very interested in history. I was taking different electives on Russian history and international politics, and that really piqued my interest. And so I dropped the psychology and started going more social sciences and ended up with international studies as my degree. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I wanted to take that back into teaching, so I stayed for my master's for the teaching.
What is your favorite story or memory from teaching?
I think it would have been early on. I used to teach high school, and I was senior class moderator. Oh. And I had so much fun because it was one of my first jobs. So I was only about 22 at the time, 22, 23. And so I could relate to the kids, and we just got along so great working with the senior staff, doing their prom and activities and hearing all their stories. And it was just a lot of fun because teaching was new to me, so it wasn't a grind. And yeah. I didn't have any family responsibilities, so it was just a fun time.
If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? Like, would you go to a different college or anything like that?
No, the college experience ended up being okay. I chose my college for family reasons. I needed to stay close to home. But in hindsight, it ended up being a great spot for me. It was a perfect college. Even though at the time I felt like I didn't have a choice, it ended up being the best choice for me. Mm-hmm. I think I would have done more international work if I could have during college. I didn't start that till when I was an upperclassman.
I guess, do you have any mistakes or wrong turns that ended up being helpful, which I guess kind of goes on?
Yeah, that was
the
it.
College.
Yeah, it was the college, and yeah, hindsight, it was the perfect choice.
Do you have any mentors or an inspiration that really got you into teaching?
5th grade teacher, Mr. Zettel. He was just a riot, and he made school so much fun, but his class was never out of control. Everything went along according to plan, but he found a way to make it fun and exciting and create a sense of community within the classroom in addition to teaching us math.
Do you have any recommendations for me going into teaching or just like helping young kids or anything at all?
Yeah, definitely find out if you like kids and if you can be in front of people. It ended up working out okay for me. I didn't do that. I think maybe it's because I thought I was going to be into teaching for so long. I was comfortable with the idea. But I remember in my master's program, a girl completed it, and her student teaching was the capstone to that. and she failed miserably because she couldn't deal with kids. So she
Oh.
had completed the whole master's program, and that's when she found out she didn't want to be with kids, and she
Oh.
couldn't effectively communicate with them. So it was a huge waste of her time, and it was, difficult on the kids that she was student teaching. So you have to definitely get your feet wet and probably choose a program that gets you, if you are going into a teaching program, gets you in the classroom sooner rather than later. That should be part of your curriculum right away, is exposing yourself to the curriculum, or to the classroom.
Going off that, like, is there like programs where you can kind of like, I mean, not like an internship, but like where you can kind of shadow a teacher or something like that? Like, was that offered?
Yeah, it wasn't offered in my program. I went to school in upstate New York, and
Mhm.
our classroom experience didn't, like I said, it happened at the end. But I know there was other programs, and I think there were some on the Canadian side too, that your first term, you were shadowing a teacher, your very first term. And so that would weed out the people
Who couldn't?
who couldn't handle it, or who just realized that wasn't for them. They really didn't want to be in that type of a setting. And it's true too, like I cannot deal with young kids. That's not my wheelhouse at all. I'm definitely middle school and high school, and sometimes I would even venture to say I would really enjoy teaching at a college level. And I think if I would have had that opportunity, it would have, I think I would have even done more with the upper level. If I would have gone
Yeah.
into primary classrooms as part of my rotation, I would have been like, no,
Yeah.
I know for sure I don't want that. So yeah, I think choose a program where you can get in sooner rather than later.
And so you didn't like work with younger kids at first. You just kind of like knew you wanted with older kids. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Being a teacher now, do you think that being like when you think back about being a student, do you wish you changed how you like treated your teachers? I guess like with more respect now that you know how it is.
I was always pretty good with my teachers. I think just because I had that spark inside of me that I identified with them, but I was not always the kindest to substitute teachers, which I definitely would change now. I think it was just a lack of maturity. And after we moved to Atlanta, I subbed before I started teaching at OLA, so I kind of, karma got back at me a little bit.
What's the hardest thing about being a teacher that you wish your students knew?
That teachers, not only do we have a plan A, but we always have to have a plan B and a plan C, because we never know what the day's going to bring. There could be a schedule change, school closing, a student could get sick in the middle of your class and your lesson's shot. So I don't think people are aware of how incredibly flexible teachers have to be every single day.
Do you think it's better to have your undergraduate in teaching, or do you think you should get it in graduate school?
I did mine in graduate school, and actually I think it's better because I had a 4-year degree in a content area, and so now when I teach social studies, I have so much coursework that I can depend upon. I took courses in Russian history, American history, social sciences, and I can incorporate that all into whatever subject I'm teaching. And then for my master's program, that's where I learned all the ins and outs of being a teacher and methodology and, all of that type of stuff. So I think it's best if you stick with a 4-year undergraduate degree in a content area and then supplement that with a graduate program.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being my interviewee, and
You are so very welcome, Molly. This has been my pleasure.
all right. Goodbye.